Hello, everyone. Art Ekman along with David Bailey on an absolute beautiful day for racing here at Glen Helen Raceway near San Bernardino, California. David, the returning 125 champion Travis Pastrana doesn't have his rival Stefan Roncada, who moved up to the 250 ranks, but he's got a couple of imports now from Europe that are really great riders. Grant Langston won the GP World Championship last year in 125s, and the number 3 rider on the list was an American, Mike Brown. He's returning to the States.
Well, you know, you look at Langston, everyone's talking about how fast he is outdoors. He's got a pretty fast motorcycle, too, to deal with the 4-strokes. I talked to Ryan Hughes the other day, and he said, watch Langston. He is going to smoke those guys. But, you know, I'm looking at the corner speed of Mike Brown in Supercross, and this is where that really pays off. So Travis has his hands full.
The 4-stroke factor. We've even got a couple of veterans, Damon Huffman and Larry Ward, jumping on 4-strokes here in the 125.
Well, there's a lot of people talking about the advantage that the 4-strokes have here at this track, especially the start being so long, all the uphills. But I think in the end, it works out about the same, because there's a lot of tight sections as well. And, you know, I think it'll light a fire under Huffman. And for Larry Ward, he's just here to have fun. That could be a blessing for him.
Down at the gate right near Larry Ward is our Davey Coombs.
Thanks, guys. Well, today here at Glen Helen, it's a new era in 125cc motocross racing, and not just because Travis Pastrana is wearing the #1 plate outdoors for the first time. This marks the first race that the controversial Yamaha YZ250F is allowed to race in outdoor motocross. That's why you see guys like Larry Ward, number 10, Michael Brandis, number 43, Greg Schnell, number 30, all the Yamaha of Troy guys. They're riding the 4-stroke motorcycles that are allowed under AMA law to ride against the 125 class. The hope is to promote the development of 4-stroke motorcycles, but on a track like this, with the great big hills that Glen Helen has, what it's going to do is offer a serious power advantage for the 4-strokes. Keep an eye on that as we start the first 125 moto.
Well, Davey, can the likes of Travis Pastrana, Mike Brown, Grant Langston, Talon Volan for that matter, counter the 4-stroke power with riding skill as we look at the starting grid for today? Ernesto Fonseca and Nathan Ramsey, Yamaha of Troy, they're on 4-strokes, whereas Sellers and Pingree, they're on KTMs. A very powerful 125 machine, David.
You know, I think the KTM looks like it's got as much power as the 4-stroke, plus they're a little bit more nimble through those tight sections.
Husqvarna's also on the scene with Christopher Gossler. Steve Lampson, former 2-time outdoor champion. He's on a Husqvarna. And there you see Larry Ward and Damon Huffman, a couple of veterans going for the 4-stroke route. Scott Sheik, number 105, coming back from Europe. It's Bobby Bonds of Splitfire Pro Circuit's very first professional motocross. And a guy all the way from Australia. Well, he was the 2000 GNCC champ. Shane Watts is also in the field, David.
There's a diagram of the new track here at Glen Helen. Actually, it looks like a diagram of the lower intestines. But let me tell you, it's a brand new racetrack, huge hills, a long start. Let's join Davey now and have a little bit more fun.
Right, down the fairway, that's 4th gear, wide open, top down on YZ250. Big advance to 125 front. Coming out right into the rut stuff. Little step down there. See the brake months forming up. I'm on the far inside too. I'm taking amateur line. Nick Wade told me I could jump this. Maybe not. There's the steep hill. Right up top. Really, really high speed downhill. A lot of chop. You don't want to throw it away here. Down in. Now we're in the mechanics area. Someone yelling at me. It's Larry Ward. I'd yell at me too. They're making it concern of racing. Look at all this braking monkey.
Davey gets to have all the fun. Actually, I've ridden around a big part of the track here on a 4-wheeler. I don't want to say what kind it was. I don't want to give any more letters.
The 125 riders at the gate now starting to get nervous. 30-second board is not yet up as they're preparing to start this first moto. Now it's in the air as we're getting set for the very first motocross moto of the year. 125s to lead it off here at Glen Helen Raceway. Travis Pastrana, last year's champion. We're right behind overlooking, and we're off and running. 40 riders converging. Who will get the whole shot? It looked like Michael Brandis Mike Brown, Nick Way, Grant Langston, all in good shape. It's Michael Brandis on the four-stroke in the lead. Brandis is really cutting up this first lap. There's Mike Brown taking second place. Brandis looked fast last year, ended up on the ground in a spectacular crash.
Actually, that section right there, and you can see him splashing a little bit of water out of some puddles. These guys got a chance to ride around the track just before the start of this race and look at where it was going to be slick. But already you can see that four strokes, people, it's a big controversy here. These guys have an advantage on the uphills. You got a four-stroke out front, you got one in third, but Langston is right there in fourth.
Mike Brown in second, looking like he's in his element here in the outdoors. Number 6, that's Steve Lamson, the 94-95 outdoor champion. Lammy going down. Bobby Bonds clipped him a bit as he went by. Lammy was leading this race last year. Very fast on this track, but now he has got a lot of room to make up.
Wow, look at the air they get. Brandis getting all the way over that step-up plateau. Brown not able to clear it, but he's still right there.
Whoo, Brandis fishtailing in that berm. He's letting it all hang out as Mike Brown's hanging with him there in second place. Brandis has been known for starting the seasons, whether it be Supercross or Motocross, with good performances. He's hoping to go all the way this year. We'll be right back. Chevy Trucks AMA Motocross is brought to you by Chevy Trucks, the most dependable, long-lasting trucks on the road. And by Honda, the company that defines performance in motorcycles, ATVs, and scooters. Welcome back to our opening moto of 125 action. Already Lance Smell has gone down. Fonseca, he spun at the start. He's in the mid-pack right now, and Lamson went down. He's in 39th as we watch Michael Brandis out in front. And that two-stroke in second place is hanging right with the four-stroke.
Yeah, Brown did not lose any time. Look at him. He's all over Brandis at the very top of the hill. So Brown is getting everything he can out of that 125.
And Langston is right there, too, David.
Yeah, so is Langston.
Oh, they rub. Brown back in second place once again. But he showed him a wheel, and they started rubbing plastic a bit.
Brown is one of the most aggressive riders out there. He had a lot of ground to make up. It seemed like Brandis had a pretty good gap heading down the hill. Brown made it all up, tried to get around, and Brandis didn't want to have any of that. He just looked back at him and said, nope, not going to have it that way. Watch, Brown tries to get around the outside of him. He'll get into this berm right here. He tries to get around. Brandis just drifts right over into his line. They make contact. Now watch Brandis. He powers away, turns back and looks at him. Not going to happen here.
Brown just took the line away from Brandis, it looked like. Here's the battle now for second place. Langston moves into second place. There was a little contact in that move. So it's Brandis, Langston, and Brown, 1, 2, 3, as they pull away from the rest of the crowd.
Well, they've really stretched the lead over fourth now, and Langston, he's doing what he said he was going to do. He said, you wait till the outdoors, that's where I shine. He talked about it in the Racer X interview. Confidence that he had when this outdoor season started, and we're starting to see it right now.
Langston winning that 125 title in Europe, the World GPs, and Brown, who's behind him in third place, taking third last year in that 125 classification. Brown has not let the two get away.
Well, it looks like Brandis. You know, I don't question his speed. I question his speed for the long haul. He's got a lot of company back there, a lot of pressure. Langston looks like he means business. Brown has not let these guys go. Those two, you know, I mentioned I talked to Ryan Hughes a little bit. He lives right next door to my mother just about, and he said he's got the proof. He was in Europe, and he watched Langston and Brown. He said, you watch, those guys are going to smoke everybody in this 125 class, and I can see what he's talking about now.
Well, Brandis has set the pace, though, in this one. It's been interesting. Brandis' first lap of 2:59.1 was a blistering pace.
And it's still not enough to get rid of these guys. Look at the pressure. Langston is all over him.
Langston looking for just the right moment to make the pass for the lead. This is his first American motocross moto.
That's about as aggressive as you can go around that corner. Then it's just a free fall back into the valley.
Who breaks the latest now on the downhill? Langston has taken the lead. A gutsy move on that huge downhill. Just to look down that hill takes my breath away.
That was just awesome, Art. I mean, Langston went by him so fast. I didn't think he was going to make the corner. He cleared the plateau perfect, landed right in the berm, and powered away. I mean, he's awesome right now.
Langston, Brandis, Brown, the order. Just left everybody else behind.
See, Langston got right into that berm at the bottom of the hill, and both Brandis and Brown having a little trouble getting in there the same way, getting set in the berm. It doesn't look, I mean, Langston is riding flawless right now. He's faster than these guys a little bit here and there, and it doesn't seem like he's taking any chances.
This track is not like a European track, and this is the first time he's seen it this weekend.
Yeah, that's going to be the advantage that well, actually, Brown hasn't seen any of these either, and that's to be his toughest competitor right now, I think, for the long haul. I don't mean to say that Brandis is not putting in a fine performance, but I think the record shows that he hasn't been able to stay up there with these guys for any length of time, so we'll have to keep an eye on whether he's able to do that.
Brown has won a 125 motocross here in America before he left for Europe. He takes the inside, and Brandis goes down. Brandis is down and out as Brown has moved into second place.
I think that might have been a little bit of payback. I told you Brown he's one of the more aggressive riders out there. That's going to be a while. Well, Brandis cartwheeled. Now he's right in the line.
There goes Pastrana.
This is early in the race, too, so by the time he gets going, gets that four-stroke started, look at the positions he's already losing. He's going to drop outside the top 20 before he gets going, and I believe Brown was motivated to get back to the inside of Brandis and pay him back after Brandis shoved him a little bit at the bottom of the downhill, the one we replayed before. Make contact right there. He clips the front wheel and fender of Brandis. Maybe if I were Brandis and had the outside and really had nowhere to go there, I would have backed off in that situation and just let Brown around, try to hang with those guys.
Dave McCollum, Travis Pastrana's mechanic now. Work on Brown. Pastrana in third place, the defending champion, after a so-so start.
I'd heard that Travis was going to stick with 199, but I guess it's just a little too tempting to run that #1 plate here.
In the 250s, the defending champion Ricky Carmichael is sticking with number 4. AMA Motocross will be seen on ABC. Round 3 from Mount Morris, Pennsylvania. Sunday, June 3rd, 3 o'clock Eastern. Check it out. We'll be right back. Welcome back to our very first motocross of the year. 125's moto number 1. Langston has moved out to a 6-second lead over Brown out in front, but the battle right now is for 4th. Nick Way, he's on the Yamaha. Number 23 is holding off Larry Ward on a Yamaha 4-stroke. The veteran Ward, who set the record for the most 250 Supercross starts that was broken this year by Mike LaRocco, sat out the Supercross season. Here comes Ward. Ward makes the inside move on Nick Way, and then up the hill, controls 4th place. Great move by the veteran.
That had nothing to do with the fact he was on a 4-stroke. It was just a better line he had coming out of that corner. And Ward, I mean, we haven't seen the guy all year. Usually the first race, especially a race of this kind of importance, you got a little bit of arm pump to go through. But obviously he's been riding a little bit. Those GNCCs have gotten him in shape. We'll find out if he's in great shape towards the end of this race. But watch this line right here. He's going to cut to the inside. You can already see they both look the same right there, but Larry's got a better line. He gets out of that berm earlier. Nick can't do anything about it.
Maybe not having to race the Supercross season has put him in this position of feeling better on the track.
I think he's having fun. He doesn't have pressure. He doesn't have some factory leaning on him. He's just been having a good time. He's almost got his pilot's license, and he can come out here and get a little bit more airtime.
Number 10, Larry Ward. Let's go down to Davey now, who's in the mechanics area here at Glen Helen.
Well, we saw how well the 4-strokes can start with Michael Brandis and Larry Ward, but wow, look how well these World Championship riders are finishing. We got Grant Langston out front with Mike Brown in second, Travis Pastrana, the only outdoor national rider from last year that even has a chance of getting these two guys. It just shows you that the riding conditions in Europe are a lot faster, and this track here at Glen Helen, very, very fast.
Good point, Davey. Here's Grant Langston, our leader, and boy, has he pulled the lead on Mike Brown.
You know, I haven't seen Langston do anything wrong this whole race. He was aggressive at the right times. He challenged Brandis, tried to dump off Mike Brown, and he's done it. He's done it smooth the whole way. He's also taken some of the best lines out there.
Number 32, Roderick Tane, pressuring Volan for 6th place. A good bar-to-bar battle, and Tane makes quick work of it now. Volan to the outside, can't get the momentum, can't get the swing to come right back at him up the hill. Whoa, Tane almost lost it that time.
That section right there is so wide. Look at the difference in lines right there. They still stay pretty much the same distance apart, but completely different lines through that sweeper at the top. And I sat up there on the four-wheeler and looked down that hill, Art. I was considering going down it and changed my mind. It's straight off. Just a free fall out of there, and then this drag race up the hill and towards the top. You really got to pick good lines.
Mitch Payton of Pro Circuit Kawasaki. There's Way, Tane, and then Volan.
Look at the way that back end gets kicked back around. Volan having to put his foot down. That's at the top of this. You don't want to start out the hill out of control. These guys having a really hard time trying to get into any kind of a line there at the bottom. Actually, one good line hasn't even formed yet because everyone's so inconsistent through there.
This is the battle of the race right now in our opening moto of 125s, because Langston, the South African, has an 11-second lead out front. But the freight train here has provided us with some good racing action.
Now, going back to what Davey was saying about this track and the high speed, it's an excellent track in terms of speed and the up and down hills. As soon as I was driving in here, it was just breathtaking looking at the new layout. But, uh-oh, Brown stalls.
Brown stalls. He loses a lot of time, but he's still in 2nd place. They're so far away from the rest of the pack. Here's Tane putting the challenge to Way. Tane to the inside. He makes the pass, so it's Tane, Way, and Volan now in the freight train with number 20. That's Damon Huffman behind them.
So other than a few of these tricky corners down here with these really deep ruts, that's the corner where Brown just stalled. This track doesn't really take that much technique as much as it does just the nerve to pin it down those long downhills. And that's where Travis is making a lot of time.
Way runs into trouble. Volan makes the pass. Here comes Huffman, number 20. Let's make it 3 abreast. Now Greg Schnell, number 30, comes in behind the pocket right now. Huffman tries to take the quick turn, but Way prevails.
And the bikes number 10, number 20, and number 30, all 4 strokes. Huffman looking good here. He had a pretty good Supercross season, always inside the top 10, always making the mains. Not quite up to the speed he once had in Supercross, but he's looking good here. Back on the 125, got that new bike. He's using it, using all that power. He's in a good battle here, but the leaders are way gone.
Here comes Schnell, battling with Way. He had a disappointing Supercross season this year, but it was a 2-time winner last year. Schnell wants to make that move on Way. Here's Talon Volan going to the outside, to the inside. Huffman, and Huffman almost went for a hay bale.
That was close. If he would have clipped that hay bale on the right as he dropped back down into the valley, that could have been a problem. See, Huffman had a good idea there, but he didn't count on Volan cutting back so tight. They make contact right there. Watch the people. Whoa, they all get out of the way, and now look at Travis.
Uh-oh, Travis Pastrana's down. He's still in 3rd place, however. Travis gets up, going again. So it's Langston, Brown, and Travis Pastrana. The top 3 with Larry Ward. Look at that, he's in 4th. We'll be back with more 125 action in a moment. Does that count as RC's win streak now? Does the AMA put that in the book?
I don't think
so.
so.
Like they do the U.S. Open?
But Travis had a good point there, you know. Ricky wants to win all the races, and you take them when you can get them.
Grant Langston is our leader here in the first 125 moto of the season from Glen Helen Raceway in San Bernardino, California. But all the action has been behind the top 3 riders. Here you have Talon Volan, number 22. He's being pressured by Damon Huffman, number 20.
I'm impressed with Huffman. Goes to the right side. You think he can be a little bit more aggressive down that straightaway because he doesn't have as many ruts to deal with. And both he and Larry Ward are doing super in this moto. Remember when Volan was contending for the win here with Carmichael. Now he's getting challenges by Huffman.
Michael Brown holding on to that 2nd place position. Grant Langston, though, he could possibly win his very first American motocross moto here today.
Brown has really picked it up, though. Already clears that entire plat. Remember the first lap, Brandon's cleared it. He didn't. He's getting over it now. He's trying to make an effort and really force Langston to ride perfect all the way to the end.
Brown's come back from Europe a much better rider, David.
And it really shows on these outdoor tracks. I could not believe the speed he had at the first round at Indianapolis through the corners. Neither could Travis. And like I said at the top of the show, this is where that really counts.
Langston, he's put the hammer to it. Here's the final lap, the white flag lap. Langston didn't stay in Europe collecting a 250 or 500 championship like many of the other European riders like Greg Albertine and Sebastian Tortelli. He wanted to get right to America.
That's a good idea. And I'll tell you what, Art, I didn't think I would ever see the day that KTM rebounded the way they have. That is a strong motorcycle. They're winning Supercrosses. Looks like they're going to have a really good chance of this 125 National Championship with Grant riding it. They got the World Championship, and I just thought at one point, just like Mako and Bultaco and a lot of the other European manufacturers, that KTM was going to fade away, but that is a strong bike.
Grant Langston, they've got a great rider on it, too.
I don't think that's the line he really wanted to take there, but he's comfortable enough with the lead he has over Brown now that he can cruise this last lap. Travis losing time to these guys. He's made a few mistakes, though, to contribute to that, but still, I don't think Travis looked comfortable out there. He might have to really look at his lines, the videos, maybe the bike setup before that second moto.
Well, Langston in his element now, but he also made a mark in Supercross as he waves to the crowd. Who can forget that time down in Texas when he waved to the crowd leading the Supercross and then crashed? That was in Houston, Texas. The shot of him in tears and then coming back to win Dallas and lead all 15 laps as well as win the qualifier before that really shows you the resolve this young man has.
Plus, en route to winning that race, he did a one-hander off the triple, then he did a can-can off the finish line jump. I thought it was funny when Davey approached him. Said, Grant, I thought you weren't going to take your hand off the bars. He's not bothered by that.
KTM's first Supercross victory in the AMA action.
Well, it's a great start. You know, the thing that I'm anxious to see in the second moto is if Travis can rebound and get a better start. These guys were checking out on him in the very beginning. So, you know, the defending champion, and you think Travis, he's always able to rise to the occasion and go the pace with these guys, and here he was clearly not as fast as Grant or Brown. So that second moto is going to be interesting.
Pastrana likes the downhills, but he likes that eastern softer soil. His first motocross win last year, David, didn't come till Southwick.
Yeah, he's gonna be strong in places, and you know, I wouldn't count him out for the second moto here, but boy, he's got a lot of ground to make up to catch Langston.
The checkers for Langston in his very first American moto. He's got to be riding high because he doesn't look winded at all. It looks like he could go 2 more motos right now. Grant Langston taking the checkered flag in his first American moto with Mike Brown in second. Travis Pastrana in third. Larry Ward held on to fourth. The Frenchman Tain rounding out the top 5. It's time to hear from the winner in Davey.
Well, Grant, nice way to introduce yourself to the American motocross guys.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good ride. I've been waiting for the outdoors for quite a while now, and I got a decent start on the concrete and got out front early, and Mark was charging really hard, and I had to push the whole way to stay in front of him. It was a good race, good way to start the season.
It must have seemed like an old world championship race to you. I mean, Mike Brown was your main competitor last year along with James Dom in Europe. Did you think that you'd be stronger than him at the end?
I mean, Mike never really fades. He's always been a strong rider, and you know, I knew he was going to push the whole way, and at one stage he actually started to close and had a good speed going, and made me a little worried because I was kind of pushing it, and those downhills were so scary.
Last question, how much did you have left at the end of the moto? Will you be good for the second race?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I feel like pretty good after the first heat, and KTM was working really good. I'm very happy and thank all the sponsors.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
A strong performance in his first moto back from Europe. Mike Brown, number 100, taking second place. Look out for him in the second moto as well, Davey.
Mike, welcome back to American Motocross. Fantastic ride in your first national couple years.
Yeah, I'm glad the first one's over with. You know, everybody's been waiting and waiting to see how everybody does. You know, this is the one I've been worried about. After I get this over, I think it'll be a lot better than I have now. So get this race over and I'll be ready to go
You must not have been surprised by Langston having dueled with him last year for the World Championship. You started to catch him, though. What happened in the middle of the moto?
Yeah, I was catching him. I went down over there, and I was catching back up. Then I got hung in third gear for the last 4 laps. My bike was stuck in third gear, and I just wanted to ride it, not seize it up. You know, there's some long straights, but it was good.
You finished second. You can still get the overall to win in the second moto.
That's right, and hopefully I just get another start like that's all I want. Top 3 or 4 start, and I'll be up there.
Good job, Mike.
Thanks, Davey.
The 250 riders now getting to the gate, getting ready for their first moto of the 2001 motocross season. We'll be right back with the 250s. Welcome back to Glen Helen Raceway near San Bernardino, California. Art Ekman and David Bailey. You know, Ricky Carmichael not only is coming off 13 straight Supercross wins, taking the 250 Supercross title, but David, he's never lost a moto here at Glen Helen, 8 for 8.
I know, I noticed that looking over the last 5 years of all the different results here. Just 1, 1, 1, 1. And he didn't really start out by liking this track, but I'd like it if I was undefeated. And, you know, the odds keep stacking against him to keep these streaks alive. He moves right from one streak in the Supercross series to another streak here at Glen Helen. And from what I've seen in practice, he should be able to keep it going.
On a 4-stroke, we saw Tim Ferry look very good at the end of the Supercross season on that 4-stroke, but you also got the new Honda 4-stroke.
Now, I've talked to Ryan a little bit. You know, he lives about a mile from my mom now, and he's pretty confident, but it's the first race of the season for him. All these other guys have been out there riding, and they're loose. They've gone through the arm pump process, and Ryan's got the power, and he's got the heart, he's got the fitness that Carmichael has. He has all the things that it takes to win, but I think he's going to be a little tight.
Let's go down to the starting gate. Davey Coombs.
Of course, all the talk's about Carmichael, but I want you guys to keep an eye on this rider. Number 120, Ryan Hughes, making his return to American motocross racing after 2 years in Europe. Look what he's riding, the Honda CRF 450R. It's a prototype 4-stroke. First time it's been ridden in AMA National. Hughes has got amazing hole shots all through his qualifiers. He will be a factor.
A great crowd on hand here at Glen Helen Raceway as we take a look at the Suzuki starting grid with Carmichael, Sebastian Tortelli. Tortelli, he was leading in points the last 2 seasons before injuries chipped into his performance. Mike LaRocco, former 250 and 500 outdoor champion. Stefan Roncada, last year a 125 Supercross champion. Can John Dowd, who's now riding a KTM, get back into the swing of things, along with David Villeman, whose Supercross season was rather disappointing. You know, David, you not only have guys like Ryan Hughes that had to qualify to get into this race, but also Stefan Roncada had to qualify, along with a guy named Sean Palmer, an X-Games gold medalist who we know can do great things in the snow, but now he's trying motocross.
And I'll tell you what, he looks pretty good out there. The thing that made him really good in just about everything to do with snow, skis, snowboards, is his intelligence. The guy picks really good lines out there, and he doesn't follow riders around. I was really impressed. There's John Dowd on that new 4-stroke KTM. And I'll tell you what, I saw Sean Palmer ride that 125 LA Supercross a while back, and that bet against Mitch Payton. He looks much better now.
To the right of Carmichael, Spud Walters. He won his qualifier. He's on a 4-stroke. Gates down. The 250 first moto of the year underway, and a great start for Carmichael. Hughes with a good start, as well as John Dowd, down number 16. But it's Carmichael taking the early lead. Here's Hughes coming up, showing a tire to Carmichael. Hughes makes the cut, and then slips out. He's not the only one. Look out, carnage. Ricky Carmichael hits the hay bale. Carmichael goes off the track, and Hughes is right there in second place. A new leader, number 934, David Villeman on the 2-stroke Yamaha. Ricky having to go through the desert to get back on the track.
He's got to go back down and do that whole portion of the racetrack again just to get back where he was. I'd be surprised if he didn't bend the motorcycle. He just flipped. That was a cliff there. He went completely over the fence, through everything. Watch what happens. There's a hay bale that's out in the way a little bit right here. He should have probably noticed that during that warm-up lap. He comes up wide, hits it. That's what starts his problems. He's not going to save that. He's headed right for the downhill. While that was going on, Villeman, that crafty Frenchman, snuck around the inside into the lead.
About a 7-2 on that dive. Didn't have his feet together when he hit the dirt. Here's Hughes, number 120 on the Honda 4-stroke, and the premier for this machine in the AMA Motocross Series.
So there's not been really much talk about Villeman coming into this race. It's all been Carmichael, Tortelli, Hughes on the 4-stroke, and Villeman leads it. He's pulling away, too.
Well, it's been after a very tough Supercross season. After finishing second to McGrath 2 seasons ago with some great wins, he slipped to 8th in the points this year. So he's looking to redeem himself on the motocross track. Is that Palmer? Yes, Sean Palmer. He went down hard. And they're looking at his hand or wrist. Ron Woods from Team Honda. Number 13, Tortelli, in a great position now. 21's Ron Cotta. 15, the 4-stroke of Tim Ferry.
Wyndham up in there, too. Wyndham looking really good to this point.
Wyndham, number 14 on the yellow Suzuki. Oh, it's been a great, interesting start to this 250 first moto of the year. Villeman, Hughes, and Tortelli on the Honda scoreboard. Welcome back to Glen Helen Raceway. Our leader, David Villeman, is back in the mechanics area. They're looking at the bike. It doesn't appear to be anything wrong with David Villeman. He did not go down, but we've got our 3rd leader of this first moto in only 2 laps. 120, Ryan Hughes. And here comes Tortelli. Board to bar. The 2 Hondas going at it. The 2-stroke, number 13 versus the 4-stroke. Tortelli to the outside. And Sebastian Tortelli, he's now secured the lead. And look at that, number 15 on the 4-stroke, Tim Ferry, not that far away.
So Tortelli's got Hughes back there on the new 450. Ferry, who's been hot lately on the proven 426. He can't even hear himself think. There's so much noise going on back there.
Are you saying the 4-stroke is a noisy machine?
It's loud. We can hear. It's the only bike you can hear going around the track. I think that speaks for itself right there.
That's why I was sitting down. You could hear it going around that corner, that's for sure. Tortelli in the lead. He loves this place. He dominated both motos 2 years ago. Last year he was runner-up here at Glen Helen. Let's get a new fix now on David Villeman. Davey?
Guys, check it out down here in the pits. David Villeman had to pull in as your early leader for Team Yamaha. Villeman had a terrible Supercross series. His luck has followed him outdoors. Had the early lead, got a flat tire, pulls in. All the Yamaha mechanics doing what they can to get him back in the race. It's a long outdoor national season. Every point counts. Normally a guy would pull out the flat tire, but they're going to try and get him back out there and see what they can salvage.
It's a good idea to put Villeman back out on the track so he can see what happens to the track so he can put in a strong second moto. And if I were him, I'd jump in behind the leaders when they came by, get used to that pace.
Ricky Carmichael is flying. He passed 13 riders in the last lap alone.
That last lap, I had him the same lap time as Tortelli. He's not catching these guys, but he's catching everybody in between. He still has a chance at the top. Whoa.
Tim Ferry darn near went for a ride there.
What a save. That stuff takes energy, though. Every time you start adding those up, pretty soon they wear on you.
You can see the interval there, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd.
Watch Ferry right here. He's drifting a little bit wide. See the rock right there? His front wheel's going to run right over it. Yeah, it looks like he's going down right there. You can see how easy it would be to get his foot stuck in the rear wheel. I've seen that happen to people where they get their foot stuck in their own rear wheel and it sends them to the ground.
A great move by Ferry to save it as he battles 120. Ryan Hughes for 2nd place here in the opening 250 moto. Tortelli still our leader and looking sharp.
You know, I'm not seeing the same aggression from Ryan Hughes that I did in the heat races earlier this morning and yesterday or in the first lap or two. So he may be getting nervous and starting to pump up. That's what I worried about.
Tim Ferry finished the Supercross season with 2 podiums, very successful. We asked him about his 4-stroke rival Ryan Hughes and the rest of the competition.
Drove with Ryan a couple weeks ago here at Glen Helen. We didn't have the hills in and stuff, and he's riding good, and you know, he's got a lot of experience coming off the you know, the European schedule and stuff, so he's going to be strong. I think there's going to be a lot of guys running up front. It's going to be a lot of battling, and I think it's not going to be like the Passion. It's not going to be a runaway. It's going to be a tight race.
Oh, a tight race it is right now for 2nd place. Ferry right on the back rubber of number 120 Ryan Hughes as they come down that very, very steep hill. It looks like a wall going up that hill. Here's Ferry taking over now. Ferry moving into 2nd place. Oh, what a smooth, sensational move by Ferry.
Got a great line on the downhill. Clears that double, no problem. See Ryan pop back up in the air right there. He wasn't able to clear it all the way, and Wyndham's starting to reel him in. So Ryan what I talked about at the top of the show, he hasn't raced with these guys all year. I think he's got arm pump right now.
Wyndham tries the inside. Boy, his feet come off the pegs. What a challenging track this Glen Helen Raceway is.
Spectators got a good view through that section. Those guys are getting that's about an 80-foot jump.
To the inside, Wyndham, can he make the move? As they head into the sandy section, yes. Kevin Wyndham has moved into third.
Normally Ryan Hughes would put up a huge fight right there, but I think right now he's riding tight, just trying to be smart here. Now look at the line. See, Hughes is trying to protect the inside, but he's committed. He's got to go wide. Ferry can cut back to that inside line right there. That's exactly what happens. He waits, crosses over, gets set in that inside rut. That's an easy pass. Wyndham will make a note of that for later.
Carmichael has moved all the way to 9th place. That was after crashing in the last place and being 38 after the first lap of action. Check out our next telecast coming up from Sacramento, California, Saturday, June. At Glen Helen Raceway, we're nearing the end of the first 250 moto, in which Sebastian Tortelli is leading, but we've got a battle now between Hondas. The 4-stroke 120, that's Ryan Hughes, and the veteran come from behind her, Mike LaRocca. You can always count on Mike for a last-minute charge.
There it is, inside line. Hughes can't really put up much of a fight right there. LaRocca just rides right through him, but this is not going to be good enough for LaRocca. He was nowhere near those guys in the beginning. He's riding fast, but he's still going to have to come into the pits and wonder what's going on up front.
Speaking of the pits, Davey's there with Sean Palmer. Davey?
Sean, what exactly happened? I just got tangled up with guys over in that turn. The guy flew off his bike, shoved me into the wall, into the fencing, and I'm out. Pretty much wasted 3 months of my life to come out and do nothing.
What about next week?
We'll see how this goes. I don't know. Probably be sore. I mean, I'm going to try to ride next week, but we'll see.
Good job, at least the way you qualified and everything, man. You worked really hard. You impressed a lot of people.
Thanks, Honda, and everybody helped me.
Well, you can tell what a great competitor this guy is as an athlete. They were working on his fingernail. Looked like they ripped the fingernail off.
Notice he doesn't even talk about it. That's that guy. He doesn't like to show pain or any kind of weakness. You know, he's disappointed because he put in so much work. He was down there riding, training with Carmichael. Whoa!
And hold on to that wild thing, and he did. Ryan Hughes in his effort to catch up with number 5, Mike LaRocca.
I don't think that's going to happen. Look at the distance that LaRocca already put on him. LaRocco's still riding strong. I think if that is, in fact, arm pump or whatever, slowing Ryan down a little bit. Plus, it's the first time he's actually raced the bike in this kind of competition. They could be needing to make adjustments there, but he's just not charging like he normally does. He's not charging like he did in his heat race yesterday and this morning. Watch this. Right behind this, that laid his head film, and he hits a bump there, and he gets him a little bit out of timing, and he stuffs the front wheel into that berm too sharp. Good save. Whole moto's been like that for Ryan.
LaRocca's had an incredible career. He's 30 years old, placed 3rd in the Supercross Wars for the 3rd consecutive year this last season. Ferry has picked up on our leader, Sebastian Tortelli. Look at that. Tim Ferry has just not given up and chipped away every lap. Right now, he's almost to the point of intimidating Sebastian. Ferry to the inside. Ferry takes the lead away from Tortelli. Oh, this was an amazing development. It's taken some time for Tim Ferry to master that 4-stroke, but he has done such a masterful job lately.
See Villeman right there behind those guys. See Villeman right there going, go ahead. He doesn't want to affect the outcome of this. And because Ferry had been out wide, he was able to cut right across, just the way he passed Ryan Hughes earlier, square across, get the inside line away from Tortelli. Ferry's been hot.
He almost left the bike there. Tortelli is not letting him get away. Ooh.
Yeah, see how much effort it took him to get to that inside line, but he gets there, gets back on the power, and that's another bike link he's able to put between himself and Tortelli.
Ferry now is starting to pull a little time on Tortelli.
Look how excited these fans are. I don't know if they're really pulling for France here. It looks like.
A four-stroke hasn't won one of these races since Jimmy Button in '99. Davey?
Wow, Brian, I have never seen that kind of aggression from Tim Ferry.
Man, he went in deep on that one. Geez, I don't know what to say, really. He's just going after it.
You got 2 laps to go. What are you going to tell him on the board next time?
I'm just going to try and keep him focused, make sure that he maintains that level that he's going, and hopefully for 2 more laps we can pull it off.
Looks like Ryan Kenny's kind of excited.
I don't think he really knows what he's going to put on that board. I think he just made that up just then. It's a good strategy, though. Keep him focused. Keep that intensity, because Tortelli, he's close enough. By the way, Ferry rode at Salt Lake. It was a great battle. He almost stole the win and stopped the streak of Carmichael. Then third in Vegas. He got overshadowed a little bit by Carmichael and McGrath out there battling, but still a fine ride, and keeps that momentum here in the outdoor. I'm really impressed with this. I've always liked the way he rides. It just took him so long to ride like this that I started to lose my faith in him a little bit.
Up and down his career like a yo-yo. Factory rider, privateer, factory rider. Oh, he stalls it. A bad break. Villeman stops right behind him, almost to protect him.
Well, he's in that deep rut. He couldn't go anywhere. But yeah, he might have tried to help a little bit if somebody came along.
They're under the same tent.
What a break for Tortelli, because it looked like Ferry was getting away from him.
Our new leader again is Sebastian Tortelli. Got a great break there, but the two of them were so far away from everybody. Ferry is still in second place. We'll be right back to see if Tortelli can hold on to the victory. Welcome back to Glen Helen Raceway as Ricky Carmichael went down again, but he has not lost a position. Believe it or not, he's come back from last to 8th place. That's the second time he's been down here in the opening moto. That could have some effect on the confidence level as we enter the final lap with Sebastian Tortelli.
Ricky fell in the exact same place. Doesn't seem like when he falls, it really bothers him that much, Art. It seems like it just motivates him. Look how aggressive he's riding. It's the last lap. There's no one he can catch, and he's pinning it.
Meanwhile, our leader, Sebastian Tortelli, is weeding through some lap riders. This would be his first moto win since the opening moto of the final motocross race last year. Look out. He almost got sandwiched. He won the opening moto at Steel City last year. And this has got to be a refreshing change from the very difficult Supercross season he just went through.
He does so well in those deep ruts. All down the lower portion of this track, the ruts are just up to the foot pegs. You can see he really needed to get through those lap riders. He was worried about Ferry back there because he's not far behind.
The checkers are out. The checkers are waving for Sebastian Tortelli. He loves to win opening rounds. And Tim Ferry, after a side-by-side battle with Tortelli, takes second place. Kevin Windham rounding out the top 3. LaRocco and Hughes the top 5. Spud Walters in the top 10 as we go down to Davey to hear from our winner. Davey?
Well, Sebastian, that was a crazy moto, and I got to say, you got the last break.
Yeah, I got the last break. You know, I guess I was a little bit lucky that Timmy stole the bike into the corner because, you know, I was pushing hard and he was following me, and you know, I guess my line was not too good. You know, he was catching me up, so you know, I'm gonna work on it for the second moto and get some smoother line to get faster. And you know, it's great to start by a win, always.
You had a really tough Supercross series. You come back out here, you reassert yourself as a title contender. What do you have left for the second moto?
I know I have everything left. You know, I was expecting more heat, you know, this weekend, and it's pretty cool right now. So you know, I'm in great shape. You know, my trainer trained me well. You know, Yannick Cavella is there to help me out, and you know, everything is going well. You know, my bike is working great. You know, I cannot ask for better. So you know, I'm just going to put everything together and try to do the same thing second moto.
Very, very good ride.
Thank you very much.
Well, a big effort from number 15 on the Yamaha, Tim Ferry. He has to settle for second place. Let's see what he has to say with Davey.
Tim, that was a fantastic ride. Tell us about the pass on Tortelli first.
Actually, you know, the Yamaha 426 just powers really hard up that straightaway. I mean, all our bikes are tapped out. I think I just got a little bit more power, and I just cut him a little on the inside, and he was too far outside, nothing he could do about it, just kind of took his line away.
You look like you're on your way to the moto win at that point. Then what happened?
I just came into this corner, and I'm trying to ride a gear higher, so you know, it's not so violent out of the corners, trying to mellow it out a little bit. And I think I had it maybe third gear. I should have had it in second. And my arms are a little pumped up, and I didn't pull the clutch in far enough and just stalled it, but luckily it cranked right back up, like second or third kick, so it was cool.
Our attention now turns to Grant Langston. Can he become the first rider in 125 national history to win his first American motocross? The 125, second moto, when we return. Helen Raceway, Scott Sheik preparing at the gate for the 125s, along with the defending champion Travis Pastrana, who had 5 overall wins and 3 podiums last year. For a Pastrana perspective, it's our Suzuki flashback.
Last year coming into the outdoor season, I really didn't know what to expect. I had just come off of 3rd place in Supercross, went out there at Glen Helen, had some of the biggest downhills, uphills, G-outs, bumps, breakers, everything that I've ever seen in my entire life. The pro course was just totally different than any amateur course. Ended up 4th, and I was more excited with that 4th place than I could have ever been with anything. I was just like, man, this is the way to start out season. My first professional victory, or moto win at least, came at Mount Morris mud race. I love the mud, especially racing in it. The second moto I went out, was able to win. I think I did a heel clicker on the first lap. I was just so excited to be out there. All my friends and family, it was the first race they'd really come to. So a great feeling for me, and it's great to be back on the East Coast too. Washougal was really the turning point of the season. I really didn't think I had a chance, but that was the point where instead of going out every weekend and going I have to win, I said, you know what, I'm going to have fun. I'm going to do what I've always done. Came out, got 2 great starts, had a really epic battle with Tal and Bowen. We went back and forth, had some fun, really through the whoops. I was 35 points down at the end of the day. At that point, I was just having fun, and I was happy to be second in the points. But it went from having fun from Washougal to Millville, and then thinking, wow, you know, after Broome, Tioga, I'm only 6 points down. If I win both the remaining motos, I win the championship no matter what Roncada ends up being. Then the pressure hit. I'm like, wow, you know, here we go. First year, I came from way off the pace. It's not just having fun anymore, this is a championship. And when I won that last moto, that was the best feeling that anyone could ever have in their entire life. I took the longest victory lap, I think, in the history of motorsports. Just went out, I just had a blast. I'm wheeling up the hills, the crowd was so into it. I mean, coming from that many points down, no one had really expected there to even be a chance for me to come and get the championship. And you know, there it was, it just boom, it happened. And I just wanted to give everyone there, you know, let them experience a little bit of the thrill that I was going through. And man, it's just the best day of my entire life.
Number 111, Grant Langston out of South Africa, winning his very first American moto. Here this afternoon earlier as we look down on Langston trying to loosen up those arms.
Hey, this is to be interesting. He's got Fonseca on the 4-stroke just to his left, Larry Ward on the 4-stroke just to his right, also Schnell. So those things should hook up pretty good off of that cement, and it could close him out.
We're off and running, second moto 125s, round 1. On the inside, that's Damon Huffman on the 4-stroke. It's Huffman with a hole shot. Schnell got a good start.
Langston over there on the outside gets out to a good one as well.
A good clean start for Langston. He doesn't feel he needs to get the top start. Whoa, Keith Johnson's bike as he dismounted.
Looked like he just got on it and threw it away. He didn't really think about going there straight.
And also tied up into it, holding his head there for a while, was Talon Volan, number 22. Kelly Smith, number 35, a bad break for the KTM team.
Looked like to me that Volan's visor was bent down. He hit his head.
So it's Huffman still in the lead. Schnell in second place. And Langston in third. Langston coming down the hill hard.
Travis coming down even harder on the inside. Better start for him this time. He's up there where he needs to be so he can take a look at those leaders. Better for Lampson that time. He makes it through the top.
Little congestion down at the bottom of the hill, and it sorts out as Huffman comes away still leading.
Travis just weaved his way through those guys and still tried to go for that double. That was a little sketchy, but it paid off. He moved up.
You know, this 125 scene is really something when you get guys like Fonseca and Brock Sellards and Nathan Ramsey, guys who have been in contention or have won titles in the past, when they're starting to be mid-pack riders. And we see Huffman, Langston, what a great surprise in the opening round.
Yeah, and Schnell in there this time, and Larry Ward, the first moto. A lot of things I would have never guessed could happen. You know, to see Langston out front, that's not that big of a surprise. There goes Fonseca. He got a bad start the first one, a little bit better this time. He's got the world record bruise on his right thigh, around his, all down his right side, still left over from that crash in Dallas.
Langston looking for opportunity now. Look at those ruts, the way they've developed after 2 motos, the 125 and 250 #1 motos. The 4-stroke is our leader. Along with our regular ESPN2 coverage, Motocross Goes Network for the Mount Morris round, ABC on June 3rd. Welcome back to Glen Helen Raceway. A great battle underway for second place. Schnell, number 30. Look at the fishtailing KTM 111, Grant Langston. He's given him a few looks, that's for sure. Number 100, Mike Brown, isn't out of it. He took second in that first moto, remember. Going through the S's, Brown. And as Travis Pastrana got clipped by Brown and he went down. Having trouble getting back into it. The fans trying to shout encouragement to him. And Pastrana will be way back there.
Well, watch this. Travis is going into the corner following Langston, but Brown, he starts to make the cut. He's going to chop off the corner. Catches Travis by surprise. Now watch Travis. Gets bumped a little bit. He's so shocked, he just keeps riding right into the fence. If he'd expected that, he could have got out of it. Now watch his spectator. I don't know if this guy's a Travis fan or not. He's quit hitting me.
I don't think he was drinking Coca-Cola there.
And look at over to the left. Right there's Davey Coombs. He's on the scene. What a bad break for Travis now. He's dropped back. It looks like outside the top 20.
Langston making the pass into second place, getting around Schnell, while we were watching Pastrana trying to get back into the action. So you got Huffman, number 20, Langston, 111. Then you've got Schnell, number 30. And then Brown is right behind him. A freight train, 4-way battle for the lead, really.
And once again, you got Langston and Brown in that fight. Coming over from the European season, these guys have got this outdoor stuff dialed in.
Most of them choosing that same line as Mike Brown goes by, number 100. Larry Ward with some problems down in the mechanics area, so let's go to Davey Coombs. Davey, what's the problem?
Guys, check out the corner. Larry Ward, 4th place in the first moto. He stalled his Yamaha in the corner, and this is the one trouble we saw at the YZ250 after the Supercross series. That thing is hard to start when it's hot. Larry Ward looks like he's all the way at the back of the pack. Cannot restart that Yamaha.
What a tough break for Ward. It looked like he was really having fun today.
He was in 5th before that happened. Still up there with the leaders again.
We're going to battle going on for first place. Huffman has seen Grant Langston close the gap.
Hey, even if Huffman wasn't able to hold Langston off and stayed in this battle up front, that'd be a big confidence booster for him. I always thought of him a little bit more as a Supercross rider than outdoor, but looks sharp here. He's not holding anything up. He's riding strong.
Boy, these ruts, you better make a decision on the rut before you get there.
You know, and the funny thing is, that's what you would think, but the guys that are really going fast, they just go wherever the bike takes them. And they got the strength and the riding skill now, and then they just pin it. As long as you got the throttle on, that bike shoots forward. You can pretty much wiggle around through those ruts, get through it okay. You saw Langston the first lap, or a moment ago, just get sideways through those. He moves out of them now.
You can hear the 4-stroke in the lead. Langston going to the outside. Mike Brown, second place finisher behind number 111 in the first moto, moving into 3rd.
Mike Brown may get the reputation of those guys you don't want to be around. The first moto he sent Brandis into the trees, and this time he sent Travis into the fence. I think they all know what his intentions are now. So Langston never follows. Probably doesn't want to get roosted, but He's always got a little different line, something else he can do. Keep that guy out in front guessing. Crosses over again.
This track looks so hard-packed, but the riders were telling us after practice that there were a lot of rocks coming up through, and you get a four-stroke that can really roost, and you can have all kinds of sores all over your body.
And Langston's wearing a chest protector, probably just for that reason. Cuts over to the right. I don't know if that's for a better line. He's just trying to stay out of that shower of rocks he's getting, and Brown has closed the gap. So I know Langston's trying to figure out a way around Huffman, but Huffman's riding so well at this point, can't do it. And that's allowing this to really get tight.
There's the four-stroke power going wide. Langston getting closer and closer now, trying to get up alongside Huffman. And Brown just trying to play opportunist there in third.
I can't believe how fast they're coming down this hill. It's starting to get really rough. Look at that fishtail all around, the braking bumps there. The track's watered in between, so they slide from braking bump to braking bump. The back end dances all over the place.
Not only does it take great conditioning to go 30 minutes plus 2 laps, but also a lot of courage on this track. Langston trying to cut it sharp. Now he gets a good turn on Huffman. Langston is our new leader. Huffman now getting a challenge from Mike Brown. What a smooth move.
Well, I remember the days when the 30-minute moto, you know, you paced yourself a little. There goes Brown.
Brown moving into second place.
You just pace yourself a little bit. Now the intent, it's like a supercross. It's like a heat race. These guys are pinned all the time. I love this line from Langston. He gets in here, makes a little pivot right there when he was able to compress that suspension, get on the throttle, make that cut. Chops off a little bit of racetrack right there into the inside of Huffman.
Boy, that sure proved the acceleration of the KTM moving out of something like that as we take a look at the field summary. From Glen, Helen, Art Ekman, David Bailey, Davey Coombs, bringing you the action. Will return. More excitement in the 125s. Grant Langston, the leader, but Mike Brown is right on his tail here as time starts ticking away. The overall is on the line right here. Brown can make a pass and push Langston to second. It would be Brown's overall. If it finishes like it is right now, identical to the first moto, it's Langston's overall. Langston's first, Brown, it would be his second.
Brown is all over him, and he made a push in the first moto. Langston said it made him a little nervous. These downhills are scary. They're even rougher this moto. You know Brown's not going to get tired.
Pro circuit guys with a smile on their face. Been a tough season for Mitch Payton's crew.
You see Kelly Smith standing right back there behind him. He wasn't able to get started in the race, but he doesn't want to miss any of this.
Kelly Smith was the last KTM to win an overall. He did it in the mud at Mount Morris. That was KTM's first factory motocross in America, their victory. And of course, they picked up their first Supercross win earlier this year with Langston. Let's go to Davey now.
Another guy having a really bad day, Talon Bolin, out after the first lap. He crashed in the first turn with Michael Brandis, actually before Travis Pastrana crashed with him. Bolin, 125 title hopeful, out with a DNF here in the second moto.
Well, he took a real hard crash. It might not just be the bike, it might be physical. As we see Justin Buckaloo, who had such a great start to the Supercross season.
This is the corner where Travis had his problems with Brown. He caught Fonseca, who's already passed him. He's working on Buckaloo. He's riding through these guys like they're not even there. He's going the same pace, maybe a little bit quicker than everybody out front right now. You can see he is really pushing it.
Pastrana, after going down, just trying to salvage points right now to get back into it. Look ahead to Hangtown Classic in Sacramento.
Yeah, he's taking a lot of outside lines and keeping his momentum up. It seems to be working for him. This could be the title right here. If Travis can't get back up in the top 4 or 5, he's going to give away a lot of points today to Langston and Brown. Doesn't look like he can afford it. See that outside line? It's really paying off. Travis is one of the bigger, heavier riders. See, he's getting out horsepowered by Bucklew, who's a lot lighter. He moved right over on him. I tell you what, I'd have done the same thing.
So Pastrana in 6th place after making the pass on Bucklew. Bucklew, his best motocross finish was a 9th last year here at Glen Helen, but boy, he's had a 22nd first moto and is not doing well here now as Pastrana makes this pass.
See how much momentum he has around the outside. He was able to go into the corner faster. Look at the difference in speed. But he was on the back of the seat going up the hill, and he started a wheelie, had to pull in the clutch a little bit. Bucklew caught him, and he moved over on him. And it looked like a dirty move, but nobody went down. After the way he got pushed off the track, I don't think he cares what anyone thinks about him.
Grant Langston is dominating. Davey?
Andrew, it looks like Grant's picked up right where he left off.
Yeah, Davey. So far, I didn't get such a bad start. He got pushed out in the first 1 or 2 turns, but he worked his way back up again. But I see now Brown's all over him, and there's nothing in it. It's going to be down to who's the fittest and can hang on the cable till the end.
You guys have been this route before last year in the GPs.
Yeah, well, it feels like being in Europe at the moment with Brown and Grant going at it like this. So we'll have to see. Last year, Grant came out on top. We'll see what happens this year. But Grant's strong, so I'm hoping we can pull it off this year.
Andrew Langston is his uncle, his father's brother, and also wrenches for him. Puts the pit-board sign out for him. You've got to be proud of number 111, who's come into his first American motocross and has just simply dominated, really.
Sellards also on that KTM.
Here comes Pastrana. Pastrana making the move on Sellards, number 18. Boy, Travis looks so much smoother now than he did earlier in the race.
You know, there's a couple of reasons for that. One is he's into that panic mode. He's got to get up there and save some points. He's not thinking about riding smooth. He's thinking about riding fast. Also, I noticed in the pits, he had his bike completely apart. They were doing some engine work. They also changed the rear shock. He looks a lot more comfortable this time, but he also looks a lot more aggressive because you can't afford to lose these points. It's the number 1 plate, defending champion, and Langston and Brown are way out there.
Let me qualify my statement a little bit about Langston dominating. He hasn't dominated time-wise. He only has about a 3-4 second lead right now. But he just looks so confident and so composed. He doesn't look like that he's riding over his head. He looks like he's going just as fast as he needs to go to win.
And he had to talk about in the first moto that he looked so solid going the speed that he was going.
All right, the 125s will be headed toward the checkered flag when we return. It's the last lap of our second moto for the 125s. Let's check out to see if number 111 does what he did in the first moto, and that is just put the pedal to the metal.
You know, every time he can feel that little bit of challenge from Brown, you can see Brown really dig and try to get up there. And Langston always had an answer for it. So the pace we're watching him ride, which has been the best both motos, is not his max pace. He's got a little more when he needs it. That's pretty impressive. He didn't necessarily get the whole shots either. He had to earn this. And Brown, it looked like he must have made a mistake or something. He just dropped off the pace.
Could this be the second consecutive year that a green card rider has won the first round of our 125 U.S. Motocross Championship? You might recall Stefan Roncada swept both motos last year. Langston, too, would become the first rider from South Africa to win a 125 race in America. Get out the broom. The checkers are flying. Langston wins both motos in his American motocross debut. Checking out the official scoreboard here on the second moto of action. Langston, Brown, Huffman hanging on to third. What a great ride for him. And then Pastrana coming back from the 20s after going down for a 4th place finish. Ernesto Fonseca riding with injuries. He took a 7. Let's go to Davey.
Well, Greg, you already got a place in the record books as the first KTM rider ever to win a Supercross. Now you're one of the only 3 riders in the history of American motocross to win your first national ever. Congratulations.
Thanks so much. Just like to thank the team, KTM, Red Bull. They've done a fantastic job, and all the other sponsors. Bike's been fantastic, and I've been looking forward to this for many months now, and just so happy to come out and win both motos.
What about Mike Brown, the guy chasing you? It must have seemed like old times.
It did, actually. I mean, there was a lot of races last year where the two of us were going at it, and you know, it was, I kind of know Mark a bit, and if you let him get too close, he'll charge. So I just try to get away from him, and you know, I seem to keep the distance.
Well, congratulations. It was a fantastic effort. I think you got a whole bunch of new fans here in California.
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, the crowd are cheering really, really loud for me, and it's nice to hear all the screaming, so it does help.
Good job.
Thanks, Davey.
Right behind Langston, you see the 2-2 for the second place overall for Mike Brown and Travis Pastrana. The 3-4, exactly what he had last year, and he came on to win the championship. Looks like a great season. Davey Coombs is with our second place rider.
Well, Mike, that was just about as good a ride as you could put in. You charged the whole way, but in the end, Langston had just a little more.
Yeah, he did. I thought I got behind him, put the pressure on him, and, you know, I raced with him last year, and I know he's a strong rider, and he rides the whole way, you know, and we both do, and then, yeah, the last couple laps, you know, I just slacked off, and I'd rather finish this race than crash out, you know, and get second, and then go to the next race, you know. The 2 California tracks is not my favorite, so when we get back east, I think I'll do a little better, hopefully.
We've seen you, Mike, for years. You're a privateer out of Tennessee a long time ago. Your time you did with Yamaha, Troy, or rather Honda, Troy. I got to tell you, you're going faster right now than I've ever seen you ride.
Yeah, I am. You know, it's the bike, too, you know. I've been training hard, and, you know, I think over in Europe's helped me a lot. And my bikes, Kawasaki Pro Circuit, Thor, Bridgestone, Scott, is working really good.
Good job, Mike. Second place in the standings, right behind Langston.
Thanks a lot.
So our Suzuki point standings after one round. Grant Langston with the 6-point lead over Michael Brown. Pastrana not far off. And Damon Huffman's right there as well. The 250s at the gate for the final moto here at Glen Helen. Chevy Trucks AMA Motocross is brought to you by Yamaha, makers of fine motorcycles and ATVs. Nobody's more in tune with motorsports than Yamaha. Sebastian Tortelli, the last overall win for him was last year at Buchanan. He's won the first moto. Looking forward to moto number 2, as is a very focused Ricky Carmichael. Let's go to Davey Combs.
For this week's Kawasaki bike set, we came down to talk to Chad Watts, the wrench for Ricky Carmichael. He's the 250 national champion. And Chad, you were just named EA Sports Supercross Mechanic of the Year. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
What's the setup for here at Glen Helen?
Well, due to the hills, I mean, you got to have a gearing that's going to be able to push you up the hills, but there's a lot of straightaways, so you got to kind of compromise. So we're like a happy, mediocre, you know, kind of gearing situation that you can still get you out of the corners, but it won't short rev on the starts. So with the sprocket setup that we're running, we should have a good combination. Suspension is really choppy here, and by the end of the day, you're going to need where it's really soft on high-speed compression. Yeah, for the tires this weekend, throughout the day, it's going to get hard as conditions change because they plow it really deep, a little bit of rain and all the water. So you want an intermediate tire at the beginning with the higher knobs, kind of wider spread, knobby situation. And by the end of the day, you're going to run like a real soft tire that's going to get you out of the corners and where you won't burn it up by the end of the moto.
All right. Well, that's Chad Watts with this week's Kawasaki bike setup for Glen Helen.
Number 120, Ryan Hughes, Dan Bentley, along with Ron Woods there, assisting from the Team Honda crew. There's Stefan Roncada. Team Kawasaki, his first full year in 250s after the 125 Supercross Championship of last year. And David Villeman trying to get that rubber warm on the concrete start pad.
Isn't it a difference between Roncada? He's over there laughing and joking around. You look at Tortelli and Carmichael, and this is not funny.
Okay, we're set to go. Let's see how Carmichael gets out of the gate. Good start for Ricky. Carmichael and Hughes. Hughes the whole shot. Carmichael got the inside corner, though.
Dowd once again right with those guys.
Lusk, Ferry, Tortelli, Wyndham, they're all there. Good starts.
John Dowd right there next to Tortelli. Ferry up there again this time.
Not a bad start for LaRocco as well. But out in front, it's the Honda 4-stroke of Ryan Hughes. Kind of tightened up a little bit in that first moto, David. We'll see how it shakes out here in the second. Ricky Carmichael already starting to apply pressure. There's Lusk, 11. 15 is Ferry.
And Tortelli moves over to the left as he was getting roosted by both Ferry and Lusk right there.
Oh! Amazing that Carmichael was able to hold on to that baby.
That's what happened to Look at Carmichael, just dives into that berm on the inside.
Great acceleration. Whatever Chad Watts did to that machine, he did the right thing, that's for sure. Into the shadows. Here comes Hughes. Hughes takes it right back again. Oh, this is an incredible battle for first place.
Whoa.
And once again, somehow Ricky holds on. RC trying to make up for going down twice in the first moto, retakes the lead on Hughes.
These guys seem to have a little something to prove to each other. I think Ricky's just over the whole idea how fast Hughes has been going lately. Hughes wants to show Carmichael, hey, I'm not afraid of you. But watch Carmichael. Look how hard he's pushing it. Back in, hits the edge of that berm, kicks sideways. Now watch how good he is at saving this. Look how strong he is. Keeps his body right in the right place, straightens that right back out, and just regains his composure right away. I had a lot of guys that go down the rest of that hill going, whew, and it would affect them, not Ricky. Now watch this again. The next time they go down a hill, swapping back and forth, and still makes the pass. Gets a little front end twitch there right at the end. Holds it straight, lands right in this berm, back on the power and pulls away. Now that's showing Hughes, look, you can't mess with me.
He had a lot of practice with fishtailing in Supercross this year.
Yeah, this is nothing new. This is more of the same thing, but at outdoors, he's doing it at higher speeds with greater risk.
There's Wyndham. Wyndham in good position once again after the third place in the first moto. Carmichael and Hughes battle it out. We'll be right back with more 250 action. Exciting 250 action here at Glen Helen Raceway. The battles for second place. Bar to bar we go. Hughes, number 120 on the Honda 4-stroke. The Yamaha 4-stroke of Tim Ferry, number 15. Ferry makes the pass going up the hill.
That better outside line, that's what Travis was using in the 125 class. He's able to get a strong drive out of the corner and blew by Hughes no problem.
So Ferry moves into second place.
And Hughes, his goggles are missing. So I wondered, it's too early for arm pump. There goes Tortelli around him as well. Hughes is faster than that. He's got no goggles right now. He's just a sitting duck.
So Hughes having to turn his head using his visor to take care of the roost. But I got to hand it to Ryan. He's hanging in there with all kinds of courage. Earlier this week, our crew's got an inside look at Ryan Hughes at home. This week's Honda Profile.
Hey, come on in. Thought you guys were coming a little later, a week or two, but just getting my yard done. Landscaping. We just moved in here about 2 months ago, so still under construction. Show you my house. Got a pool table here. It's from my dad. He bought it when he was around. I always can get a nicer one, but I like to keep this for memories, you know. So then over here I had this trophy case built. And, you know, there's a couple things from racing. I don't like to keep too much stuff around, but a little bit. Got this from Donations. My mechanic, Wyatt Seals, got this done for me, so it means a lot. Came close to winning one time, and it's always been my goal to win it, and finally did it. Well, here's my little guy, Evander. He's around. Can you say hi? No? A little shy. And here we got the kitchen. That's where I spend most of my time, eating. I like to eat. Got some steaks and strawberries and a lot of organic food. Try to keep it healthy. Over here we got my big entertainment center built. Nothing too exciting, but got good surround sound on there, so if I'm playing movies, turn up real loud. My wife Jennifer, expecting another baby, so she's relaxing. Got a little bar made here. You know, it's small, but I'll be putting my kegerator in here when I'm done racing. If I do good, then I can buy it. Here we have my son's playroom. All the team managers out there. Hey, look, I already got him in training, so be prepared. He'll be coming after me. He's already practicing, so he's not, kind of rides like me a little bit, but that kid has enough toys to last probably 2 families, but if you make the money, you might as well spend the money a little bit. We'll have to go upstairs and show you the rest. So follow me. And here we got a guest room. If you do stay at my house, you gotta sleep on the floor, because we don't have a bed yet. Over here you can kind of watch people not play pool very well, like myself. Then you got pictures of family, you know, kid and wedding pictures and mother and father, all that good stuff. In here, got a sitting room. I guess probably just if you want to read, or I really don't know what it's for, but it's kind of a cool room. Windows, I like it. In here, got my son's room. In here, got Roly-Poly Oly. We watch this every morning. This is a good cartoon right here. Even I like it. Race car bed. He doesn't spend much time in here unless he gets in trouble, so maybe he does spend a lot of time in here. In here is where I sleep. It's the master bedroom. This is where I've got the nickname Rhino. I like this room. This bed is real comfortable, but I don't spend much time in it. And up here is my favorite part of the house, is the gym. I can just get out of bed, walk up the stairs, and boom, start working out. In my career, I've overtrained, I think, for the last 10 years, but I've wanted to win so bad, and if someone was training, I was going to do double. But this year, I've kind of learned to rest a little bit more, kind of listening to my body. And now I do that, but I still use this place quite a bit. I don't have to go to the gym and wait for people to stop jibber-jabbing, and, you know, I can get in with the workout. All right, now we're outside here. As you can tell, still not done. Got a pool with a little bit of water, but I know that would hurt if you dove in that. Got myself a hammock out here. I like to relax sometimes at night. Jacuzzi, you know, pretty simple, pretty basic. This is my dog, Buster. Huh, you say hi to the camera? You say hi to the camera? Yeah, this is Buster. So if you come in my backyard, he'll tear your head off. Huh, tear his head off. Well, welcome to my garage. This is my other part of favorite house, gym, garage. I got some trophies and helmets I like to keep around. I got a mountain bike from Tomac. Johnny Tomac sponsors me. And I got, you know, a couple 250s. This bike has a new Woody Woodpecker deal from Universal Studios, so it's kind of cool. You know, the kids like that. And this is the baby. This is the one. Been sweet talking it, trying to make sure it understands about what I need to be done this year. 120 was my first number in amateur career. Came back from Europe, had to pick a number, so I picked one that's been good to me. And hopefully with this combination, I'll be a good year and be on the podium. With all that, you see my house, see my yard, see my garage. Man, I need to rest. It's hot out here, so I'll see you later.
Ricky Carmichael is way out in front here with the 252nd Moto, but this is the battle for the overall victory, the big trophy. Tim Ferry took a second in the first Moto. Number 13 behind him, Tortelli, won the first Moto. This is the battle for the overall at this point in the race. Second and third place, that's where they're currently battling, and Tortelli is wanting to put more pressure on Tim Ferry.
They're going through that section of the racetrack where Ferry had that problem the first Moto.
Tortelli ran into the back tire of Ferry, and he went down.
He got a little too close there, Art, and I don't think he realized what Ferry was going to do. That's the first time he's followed him through that corner, and Ferry had a different line.
So Lusk, his teammate, is out in front. That's Larocco taking advantage of Tortelli trying to get back into the race. And there's Kevin Windham.
Kevin has been solid today. Great ride in the first Moto to third. And he's been solid here, working his way up through this pack. Watch what happens. Ferry comes into this corner. He's going to try to cut out to the inside. Watch his rear wheel lock up as he's looking to cut to the inside, have a good line into the next corner. Tortelli doesn't notice that, hits his back tire, high sides. That could cost him the overall.
A tough break for Tortelli. And there's Tortelli muscling his way by Larocco.
That's usually the other way around.
Boy, you don't get away with that very often. Larocco, a new 2-year contract with Honda. His AMSOIL Dr. Martin's Honda. He's performed consistently all year. He tries to get back on Tortelli now, but Lusk is in front of Sebastian. He's got his work cut out for him, David.
Because Sebastian lands on the downside of that plateau and just rockets away. That crash didn't affect him. When he picked it up and started again, even though I went for the Kickstarter twice, he seemed pretty composed, took his time, and now he's just right back in this fight. I don't think he feels like he's out of it yet. He's still charging hard, trying to save this overall victory.
Well, Rocco, you see him going by in 6th place. Let's take a look at the Honda field summary now. Carmichael, Ferry, Wyndham, Lusk, and Tortelli, the top 5. With Rocco, as we mentioned, next in the order. Rocco trying to fight back after a 4th place finish in the first moto. He'd like to get up in that top 3. We'll be right back after this word from our sponsors. But first of all, think about it. Our Suzuki trivia question. Name the only national event that Tim Ferry has won. Our leader in this second moto is Ricky Carmichael, but if Tim Ferry finishes in his current 2nd position, he would win the overall. Our Suzuki trivia question, the answer, Tim Ferry's lone national win was Mount Morris. I might add he was on a 125 at that time, however. This would be his very first 250 national victory. If he hangs on to 2nd place anyway. Davey Coombs is with the mechanic of Tim Ferry. Davey?
All right, Brian, forget about Carmichael. 3 laps to go. It's all between you and Wyndham for the overall.
Yeah, it's going to be a nail-biter. We're in 2nd, pretty solid. Wyndham's right there, but, you know, the gap hasn't changed much for almost the whole race. If it stays the way it'll be, we'll get the overall, and Wyndham will be 2nd.
Are you going to tell Tim to start looking in his rearview mirror?
I've just been giving him his splits. He knows where he's at. He's just going to, I guess, try and stay cool. You know, he knows he's there. He knows the gap between them. And all he's got to do is ride his race. I think we'll get it.
You think this will be more important or maybe a little more severe than that first moto victory would have been, an overall?
I don't know. A victory's really nice, but definitely an overall is definitely the way to start off a season.
Especially if it's your first overall victory in your career. He's looking smooth, David.
He's got that outside line dialed, squares back, able to clear that double jump. He's solid, Art. I mean, he is pushed to the point where other riders around him are making mistakes, and he's in a position to scoop this up.
Tim Ferry holding on to 2nd place. Before the opening round of the Motocross Series, the folks at Glen, Helen, and Chaparral teamed up to put on the 2nd annual Moto Charity Golf Tournament to help raise money for the Emergency Trauma Care Center at Loma Linda Hospital. Number 15, Tim Ferry, was there along with former champions Jeff Emmingen, Greg Albertine, Nathan Ramsey, Grant Langston. They were all there to get a good round of golf in.
You know, it all goes for charity. This was going to Loma Linda Hospital, which is right here near Glen Helen. I know a few of the riders have actually been there and, you know, had to stay there for a while, so that's cool.
You know, it's worthwhile dedicating our time to this, and, you know, just it's definitely for a good cause. Loma Linda's a great hospital, and things are good.
Thanks to his dad's high bid, Taylor Kellstrom had the opportunity to golf with his racing hero, Kevin Wyndham. Taylor's more impressed with the Suzuki rider's racing style than his golf game.
It's awesome. I mean, he's such a cool guy. He needs to kind of work on his golfing, but he's cool. But he can whip us all on the racetrack.
While the day was about having fun, none of the racers were about to give up their day jobs.
You know, we're definitely outside of our profession, obviously, by the way most of us are hacking around, but it's a lot of fun, and that's the way I think everybody's attitude is today, is just out having a good time, you know, trying to enjoy a day of golf.
Also raised more than $30,000.
Giving back is something you do if you love something. I love motocross.
And it's obvious the fans do here in the San Bernardino area because it is a record crowd. Kevin Wyndham in 3rd place. But he's got quite a bit of ground to pick up if he's going to catch the overall title here, and Tim Ferry in 2nd.
You know, I'm looking at the way the Supercross season went for Kevin, and I'm looking at his finishes here. I'm pretty impressed with the start of the season for him. I think even though he'd like to win it, I mean, look at Larocco. That's the guy that usually comes up through Kevin, and he's holding him off. No problem. This is a solid ride for Wyndham, especially to be that close for the overall. And you heard the mechanics. They're not factoring in Tortelli. Tortelli can pick up a spot that first moto win, he could sneak in there and grab the overall.
This sport is so unique because you leave Supercross and like Ricky Carmichael just dominates and has a string of 13 straight victories. And then the next week you're in motocross. You don't have time to even think about the glories. But for some, like Kevin Windham, maybe Ezra Lusk as well, you know, it's really refreshing to have a new season to get into in the middle of the year.
Yeah, I think they were happy to get out of that. And, you know, Lusk, I think he's capable of a little bit more than what he's doing today. But remember, he didn't ride a week ago at the final round in Vegas because he crashed and either broke or bruised some ribs. So he's not riding at 100% right now. Also, Hughes had to stop and get goggles. He's just looking like he's getting back into the top 10.
Boy, the angle of that shot, you can really see how steep the hills are here at Glen Helen.
This one coming up is straight up. Clear this double jump. As you head up that hill, it's straight up at the top.
Oh!
You can see, like, if they were going up this hill, the way they're going up Mount St. Helens, and the other one where Carmichael had his problem the first moto, right into the sun. They can't even see the track. And in the last 3 years, I can't remember LaRocco really doing any much better than he is right now. Maybe he just needs to get the season kind of going, figure out where he fits in with the rest of these guys, pick it up.
It's been a while since he's won here at Glen Helen. 1993, he was out of Kawasaki. It was a good year for him. So out of 11 250 motocross wins in a career and a championship, one of those came on this track. Ricky Carmichael, he has never lost except for the first moto today.
Boy, he looks good. He's going so fast.
Well, he's atop the Honda current standings with Ferry and Windham second and third. The overall is on the line. Chevy Trucks AMA Motocross is brought to you by Chevy Trucks, the most dependable, long-lasting trucks on the road. And by Honda's Deals to Move On. Now's the time to get the world's best deals on the world's best bikes. Ricky Carmichael has dominated his second moto, but Ricky Carmichael's streak of 13 straight wins on the year will have been broken after this race is over with, as well as his streak here at Glen Helen. 8 out of 8 motos he won before today's first moto. And here's an incredible fact. This would be the first time since Mount Morris last year that RC has not been on the podium in an AMA race in the 250 action. That includes Supercross, U.S. Opens, and Nationals. That's 27 consecutive podiums for Ricky Carmichael, broken here today. As he takes the checkered flag in this second moto, it will place him 4th in the final overall standings.
Well, he gets the final say in this moto here to take this momentum to the next round at Hangtown. I don't think he's worried about that first moto in the long haul, but I know it'll frustrate him because he likes to dominate.
After such a brilliant Supercross season, Carmichael hoping to double up and get the season sweep with a championship in the motocross action. Well, he's still got 11 more of those races to go. 22 motos. You can hear the screams of the fans, the cheering.
He's shaking his head right there going, yeah, I won this one, but man, I wanted to win it again, keep the streak alive.
So the checkered flag for Ricky Carmichael. But the second place rider, Tim Ferry, will get the overall championship, number 15, with 2 second places in today's moto action. Ferry coming in toward the area of his crew. Carmichael giving him all 5, and I think that's his dad. The Florida natives revel in their position as Carmichael wins this second moto. Ferry, Windham, LaRocco, and Tortelli rounding out the top 5. Hughes, after getting new goggles, came up to 9th. The privateer, Kyle Lewis, in 10th. Davey.
Well, RC, I know your day didn't start out the way you wanted to, but nice ending.
Thanks a lot, Davey. I don't know what the deal was with the hay bales at the top of the track, but I don't know. I should have looked at it on my parade lap, but it seems like it was a little further out there than it should have been, and I don't know. I felt like it was my day. I feel like this is my home track, even though I don't live out here. I'm really disappointed in today's outcome. I'm happy with the second moto, but I'm not pleased at all with the first moto. I made a stupid mistake on my behalf up the uphill, but the bike was working excellent, and I'm just going to have to play catch-up the next couple weeks.
RC, this is the first time you've lost a race since January 20th. It's been a heck of a streak.
It has. It's been a great year. I can't complain, but just to lose at Glen Helen and stop my streak here is kind of a bummer, but I showed that I was the fastest guy today, and we'll take it to next weekend.
Carmichael won the battle, but Tim Ferries, you see here with a 2-2, wins the war. He gets the overall trophy. The first time a four-stroker's won the 250 overall since 1999 in Washougal. Jimmy Button, let's go back to Davey.
Well, Tim, for the first time since 1995, you're in the winner's circle, and you probably couldn't have picked a bigger race to do it at than Glen Helen.
Yeah, you know, the last couple of Supercrosses went really well for me, and I just had a lot of confidence coming into this race, and, you know, the Yamaha 426 worked real good. It was a perfect track for a four-stroke, and I'm glad to come away with the win. A 2-2, I won that actually back in '95. I won with a 2-2 also, and I don't know, I almost won that first moto, but hey, I'll take the win any way I can get it.
It's got to be sweet redemption. And what about the four-strokes? A lot of people are talking about the new Honda. You came out and showed them Yamaha still out front.
Yeah, you know, we passed them both motos and left them by quite a big margin, and I really like the four-stroke. I'm getting more comfortable with it, and I think I'm only going to get faster throughout this outdoor season.
Well, I'll tell you what, if anything goes like the rest of summer goes like these last 3 weeks with a good Supercross finish and then coming out here and winning, might be your year.
Yeah, you know, we'll see. I know Ricky got a little get off of that first moto, but this year I think there's a lot more competition. Top 5 guys are a lot closer in speed, so I think we're going to see a really good outdoor season.
Congratulations on the win to you and your wife, Abby.
All right, thank you very much.
Ferry with only a 3-point advantage on Tortelli, a 4-point advantage on Wyndham. But look at this, the top 5 are in great position for championship points after today's action. We had really underdogs defeat the defending champions today.
Ferry called it too. He said it wasn't going to be a runaway. There was going to be a lot of guys in there contending, and any one of those top 5 guys can win this championship.
Congratulations too to Grant Langston in the 125 division.
Well, he said he was going to do well, and he went out there and backed it up. I think Travis did a good job to come from behind, but he